Hey everybody, I'm Ethan James with the Honest Carpenter. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix or address sticky drawers. Drawers that are having a hard time sliding in and out of a dresser like this one. Just keep in mind that in this video, I'm only focusing on drawers and dressers that have wooden components, what we typically call web frames, flat wooden surfaces, and sometimes centerpiece for the drawer to slide on. That's what these techniques are going to work for. These techniques don't really apply at all to more modern hardware, metal hardware on bearings with pull-out slides. That's not what we're going to cover in this video. Also, really the first thing you want to probably do to start out when you start pulling out drawers, go ahead, get a shop vac or a vacuum with a wand and vacuum out these areas in here, because a lot of these methods, you're going to need to start with a clean, dust-free surface. If you need to, get a rag or a cloth, wipe things out. Try to not get anything too damp because it could interfere with some of the things that we're going to be using. But go ahead, get it cleaned out. I'm going to use this little shop vac to get this started. So, option number one is the one I think is probably the least effective, but it can help in some scenarios, and it involves sandpaper. Sometimes when you have these wooden components shrinking and expanding over time, points inside the cabinet and on the box can start to come in contact with each other or rub. Look for points that show abrasion, that look like they've just been scraping against something a lot over time. Tear yourself off just a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of rub up those contact points. Try to get them sanded down, smoothed down just a little bit. Test the drawer, put it back in, take it out. It may help, it may not. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we can go on to these other ones. Method number two, bar soap. I've been told in the past it helps to kind of grease up the tracks and the parts of the web frame that come in contact with each other, especially the underside of the drawer edge. So just take a bar, something like dial soap, and very lightly grease that under edge just by rubbing the soap against it. I can already feel it slicker. I know it does help. This isn't the method that I typically use, but it does seem like it can work, and I'm probably going to try it at least on one of these drawers. So number two, bar soap can be helpful, and it's something that you always have around the house. Method number three, beeswax. Very similar to soap, just a slightly different compound here. Works in the same way. You can use paraffin wax, beeswax, even normal candle wax, so you might not want to use anything scented. But similar approach, just take a bar of it or a block of it and just rub it onto the components that are going to come in contact with the components inside the web frame of the dresser. Coat as many surfaces as you can. Try not to leave too much gunk. A bar like this, just $3 at Ace Hardware. Really helpful to have around. Beeswax is one that I've used really often in the past, and a lot of other people recommend it too. So think about getting some, or just keeping some tea light candles on hand, because they can work just as well. Number four, continuing right along with that same line of logic, wax paper also works. Wax paper has a very, very thin coating of wax on the parchment, and it's kind of perfect for not putting too much onto the drawer slides or the other components in the dresser. You just take a piece, fold it up, and do the same thing kind of carefully without getting splinters. Rub it against the center slide, the sides of the web frame, and the underside of the drawer, and you're going to get a pretty smooth, even coat that's not going to be too gunky or gloppy. And wax paper is another thing that you're definitely going to have around the house if you cook a lot. So if you don't have candles, you don't feel like running out getting beeswax, consider just using wax paper. And again, when you're passing it back and forth, make sure you don't pull up any splinters or tear your paper. You want to do it fairly gently until you know that you have a good smooth surface to work off of. And finally, number five, dry lube. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. Dry lube comes in a variety of products. Some of them are graphite based. This is Teflon. I think Teflon's the best because it's just so slick. But as you can see, it just has a spray-on applicator, which I think makes it more convenient than bar soap or beeswax because you don't have to work the bar around in there. This applicator can get your spray directed exactly where you want it, and all the little nooks and crannies that you're going to get in a dresser or drawer like this. It goes on wet, but it doesn't leave an oily residue. It basically dries out really fast, and what you get afterwards is two really slick surfaces. Perfect for the sort of friction that's going to get created inside a wooden dresser like this, where you have wood on wood components. But the benefit is that it also works for a lot of other things. Door and window tracks, metal hardware like I showed you earlier, even rope. If you have two pieces of rope that are in contact with another, going to produce heavy friction, you can use dry lube on them. Just spray it on, give it just a little bit of time to dry. You can basically watch it happen, especially in the dry atmosphere of a house like this. You will notice kind of a pale coating on it sometimes afterwards, but it's not greasy and it's not going to collect dirt and grime, which is what oil-based lubricants are going to do over time. So this is really good for wood applications. Probably my favorite, number 5, dry lube with Teflon. Only costs you about maybe $5 or $6, and you can just keep it around the house and use it on projects as the need comes up. So that's it. Several ways to get your drawers sliding smoother in an old dresser like this. As you can see, these methods work pretty well for me on this dresser. I think they're going to work for you too. If you know any that I didn't mention in this video, please put them down in the comments section. I learn a lot of things through my own comment section from people like you just writing in. Also, now have t-shirts available down there below the video, right above the comment section. Got a merchandise bar on YouTube. I'm going to be rolling out more t-shirts coming soon, so if you want to support the channel, get a cool t-shirt out of it, they're available right down below. As always, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to check back in for ones coming up soon, and check out our older ones. We've got about 50 of them now, and we're going to be rolling out more. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Ethan James with TheHonestCarpenter.com. See you next time.